And you're on.
All right. Well, hi, everyone. Welcome to the presentation today. My name is Jenny Bowden, and we are here to talk about the 10 top trends that you may have missed at H&H Americas. So we will go ahead and get started. Just before we dive in a little bit more about who I am and who Prime Publishing is, we are an online publishing company. We own more than 30 different crafting and cooking websites. You can see a few of them here listed on the side of the screen. But we have 5.4 million fans and followers on social media, 3.6 million email newsletter subscribers across all of our titles. We publish 3 digital magazines, I Like Crochet, I Like Knitting, and We Like Sewing, with more than 30,000 paid members. So our goal at Prime Publishing is to just help companies and bloggers and influencers showcase your creations, various products in the cooking and crafting industries. And we've been in business for 10 plus years. So we've have a lot of experience with staying in tune with trends in the industry. And we are super excited to share what we learned last week while walking the floor at the trade show. A little bit more about H&H Americas. If you haven't already heard, this is the first offspring of the world's leading craft trade fair, H&H Cologne. It is now in its 2nd year. So our next show is May 1st through 3rd next year in Rosemont. That's a great opportunity to get all of the various soft craft industries under one roof. This year we had more than 260 exhibitors and more than 2,000 attendees. 35 different conference sessions, and plus now this digital after show, which is a really great opportunity to kind of continue the inspiration from what we learned last week. I know for me personally, it's always hard to leave the show and come back to, the day-to-day. And so this is a nice transition to kind of continue that inspiration and continue the networking the week after. And if you weren't able to attend in person, the digital platform for the H&H trade show is just fantastic. It's a really easy way to find out who was at the show and to get some great networking opportunities if you're not able to attend in person. So kudos for the digital platform and of course this digital after show, which we are a part of now. So thank you all for joining us, and we will dig into the top 10 trends that I saw. Of course, this is just, my opinion, my sampling, a few sampling ideas of what was seen at the show. I'm just one person. So again, there were tons of exhibitors, more than 200 exhibitors. So I didn't get a chance to see every single booth, but these are some of the trends that I saw, recurring throughout different booths as I walked the floor. So number 1 is kits. A lot of different, and we'll get into each of these trends. I'm just going to give a quick overview of the top 10 trends here, and then we'll dive into each one a little bit more in detail. So kits, having everything you need in one little bag to get a project done. So this is a great opportunity if you don't really know where to get started, if you're overwhelmed. A lot of companies are just making it super easy to kind of get your feet wet with a certain craft, or if you just want the ease and convenience of a kit. It's just making crafting more accessible for everyone. Granny squares. Granny squares were everywhere, from home decor, wearables. I mean, this has been a design trend in the industry, the yarn industry, for so long, but people are just getting super creative with how they incorporate granny squares into different designs. I feel like every yarn booth had something granny square in it. So embellishments. This is just a great way to customize your creations, whether that's adding rhinestones or beads. Even embroidery. People are adding embroidery to different crochet or knit items. So just giving your finished piece that extra little, touch of flair. Embroidery, not only did we have embroidery on garments, but, the loops, the embroidery loops, and just lots of different examples of embroidery everywhere I look. I think that is, a lot of these trends were around last year too, but they were just a lot everywhere this year as I walked the floor. Neutrals. Usually it's just like a lot of bright colors. The crafting industry loves colors, obviously. How could you not? But neutrals, I think that there was a couple booths I saw that just kind of took a step back and took the more simplistic approach of just focusing on a lot of beige and, neutral tones, which kind of, for me personally, it has like a nice calming effect. And it, there were some booths I joked, I was like, I could just live here. It's like so peaceful and so relaxing. So there's a time and a place for the fun, flashy colors, which we'll get to because that was also trending. But there's also a nice time for neutrals. It's just a nice calming effect, at least for me. And then neon and glow in the dark. We saw a lot of neon colors and some glow in the dark, which is really fun for kids. I think Lion Brand had a cute little glow in the dark plush cloud, which is just always fun. So glitter and metallic yarn. Lots of different ways to incorporate glitter, takes that yarn up a notch, and just, it's always more fun when something's sparkly, right? Vintage and retro, trends always come back into cycle. So we did see a couple different examples of vintage callbacks and throwbacks. There is a booth we'll get to with a new vintage fabric line coming out. So lots of throwbacks. Nature, strawberries, and mushrooms. We saw a lot of just natural elements and different designs. And sustainability, last but not least. This was really prevalent last year, and I noticed it just kind of more integrated this year. In almost any booth they had, a sustainable line of yarn or a sustainable fabric. So just kind of taking a more eco-friendly approach to their products. So, okay, let's dive in a little bit more to each of these. Oh, plus efficiency, bonus efficiency. Of course, we're always looking for ways to work smarter, not harder. So I'll get into that and how that was, seen at the show last week. Okay, kits. So this is this photo here is from the Hardy Craft booth. This was, again, one of many, many examples I saw of kits where companies just make it so easy to just get everything all in one place. Hawthorne Handmade, their whole booth was just kits. They had cross stitch kits, embroidery kits, felt craft kits, needle felting kits, and then M Creative J, Melissa, she's an embroidery artist. So she has embroidery kits to make it really easy for people to get started. So the kits are great because it allows people that don't have any experience in that craft a really easy way to get started with that craft. If you're overwhelmed, you don't really know where to start. It comes with everything you need all in this one little bag.
Pardon me, Jenny.
Yeah.
Just to cut you, sorry. Did you share your screen? If you did, it didn't go through. We don't see it.
Oh, well. Can you see it now?
Yes, thank you.
Okay, great. Wonderful. Well, thank you so much. Yeah, my apologies. Here is the Hardy Craft image that I was discussing. Yeah, crochet kits from Hardy Craft, and then the Hawthorne Handmade kits. And then going back to kind of the origins of all the kit trends, I think a lot of this, I don't know if you guys are familiar with the Woobles. They were actually at the show. They did a keynote, Finding Confidence Through Crocheting, the Inspiring Business of the Woobles with Justine Wu. That was one of the keynotes. I think it was on Friday last week. So I think that really helped launch the kit trend, even more in full force at the show. So again, almost every booth we stopped at had some sort of kit available to the consumer. So. Okay, granny squares. Like I said, granny squares were absolutely everywhere. Again, these are just a handful of the photos I took. This first booth, the Ikigai Fiber, they had granny squares. You can see that cute little lamp down in the bottom left corner. There's the granny square blanket that was folded up. The scarf here, just along the bottom here, this was a scarf at the Cascade Yarns booth. This was Sarah Zimmerman of Repeat Crafter Me wearing actually a design that she made, a little crossbody with granny squares. The sweater here at Acme or the Etrafil booth, plus the cardigan at Kelborn Woolens. And this, the hat here, this was at Koigu Wool Designs. This was one of the employees there working the booth. She had made that hat just and finished it the day before. So again, just tons of different applications for granny squares, not just in blankets, which is, I think where they originated, but in home decor, wearables, just everywhere. Granny squares are coming back. So. Okay, number 3, embellishments. The photos here, the top 2 were from Ikigai Fibers, again, adding these little gems to the pom-pom hat. Again, the pom-pom is another embellishment, a way to just add your own personal flair to the design. And then adding embroidery to the shawl. And then the sweater down here was, you know, a knit sweater that had embroidery added to it. And then the beads here, I'm not sure which booth this was from, and I apologize, but a colleague of mine took that photo of this beautiful little coverlet with beading in it. If you look closely, there's beads there. So again, just pom-poms, not just in home decor, which is, they're not just in hats, they're in home decor, they're on clothing, they're in accessories. So lots of different ways to kind of add your personal flair to a finished piece. Okay, we've talked a little bit about embroidery, but this is, you know, the most prevalent way that we saw embroidery was on these loops. Lots of nature embroidery themes. Down here at the bottom, we had the plants, and then of course the inspirational phrases. A lot of people have just gotten so clever with the little phrases that are people are embroidering lots of references to pop culture too, which, you know, they're not in these photos, but this is just a trend that I've even seen, just, you know, even with celebrities, people are like embroidering quotes from TV shows and song lyrics, etc. And all of these photos are from Hawthorne Handmade. I asked what their best seller was, and they said these little miniature ones, which are the smaller photo here on the left. So I think that's another trend that I didn't really get into, but a lot of booths have like little miniature versions of things. So people, I think, are just into, you know, whether or not it's because it's easier, quicker to create something small, or it's just cute. You know, people like the small, cute little aspect of it. So I thought that was an interesting tidbit, talking to the folks at Hawthorne Handmade, that their best seller was the miniature ones. So, and you know, smaller doesn't even always mean it's easier. Sometimes it's more difficult to get that little tiny pieces put together on a small item. So, you know, I don't know if it's fair to say that the smaller ones are easier. Sometimes they're more difficult, but I thought it was interesting that the miniatures were their best seller. Okay, like I said earlier, neutrals, you know, color is always overwhelming at these trade shows. They're color everywhere, but there were some booths that just kind of like had a very calming effect, and everything was very neutral. This flax and twine booth, I think they're based out of Colorado. They had the poofs, the blankets, the pillows, rugs, everything was just in this natural, neutral tone. And then Appalachian Baby Design, this was the bottom right corner, this little cute baby sweater and baby blankets. I think there's definitely, you know, a time, I feel like you're either like super into color or you're super into neutrals. And I think neutrals had more of a presence this year at some of the booths than I had seen in previous years. So it was kind of nice. I don't know what that means exactly. Maybe people are just, you know, into the soothing, calming environment of the natural colors. But yeah, just something I thought was worth mentioning. But then you have the flip side, and you know, saw neon. So neon always kind of comes back around. We were talking to the folks at Universal Yarn, and they said, you know, especially when things are gloomy in the world, you know, the last couple of years with COVID, and we've had, you know, some political challenges, you know, when things are challenging, we always kind of look to bright colors to make us feel better and cheer up. And, you know, with the Barbie movie coming out now, like everything is pink everywhere, I feel like. So bright colors and neons are always there, even though neutrals are trending, I think. Neons are always there to kind of add a pop of color. And then there's some scrub yarn down here. This was from Plain Jane Yarn, their Glit scrub yarn. So, and then I think that little sleeping baby amigurumi had, you know, a glow in the dark element as well. So yes, while neutrals are trending, there's always a place for, you know, bright colors. So same with glitter and metallic. You can't go wrong with adding a little sparkle to your creations. So right here is a picture of the metallic yarn at Anzula. And then down here in the bottom, this was, I hope everyone if you were at the show, I hope everyone got a chance to go say hi to Spike the Hedgehog. This was from King Cole Yarn. One of the first photos my colleague and I took at the show. It was just so fluffy and so fun. This was made using their Tinsel Chunky yarn, which is now available in more than 40 colors. So they're kind of taking Spike on a tour. They're a UK brand, I believe. So Spike has Spike is on a world adventure here. So it was really exciting to see him at the show and take a picture with Spike. So, but I also wanted to talk about this concept of carry-along yarns. Some of you may be familiar. I certainly wasn't. I was still learning about this, but it's the concept of adding a really fine yarn or thread that you add to a normal skein of yarn, and it can change the appearance. So, and you don't necessarily have to buy the yarn with the metallic in it. You could buy this carry-along yarn, which is and I think I had a picture of it on the neon slide. I can go back real quick. But down here, this neon pom-pom, that was that yarn shown in 6 different swatches. So they added that yarn to other yarn to add the neon element. So this concept of carry-along yarns, again, it's kind of goes along with the embellishments. You're embellishing that product to add your own flair and to customize your design. Okay, number 8, vintage and retro. Everything always comes back around in style, right? So this photo from Deco Art, this was awesome. It reminded me, so they have this new product, it's water marbling. So you add the paint to a tray of water, and then you can marble paper, fabric. This was a piece of fabric that they had marbled. You can see their drying rack behind her of all the samples that she had made. But I remember when I was like in elementary school, we would do this like paper marbling, and then we do calligraphy on it. And it was part of, I don't know, it's just like a history lesson of this ancient art form of using paint to create unique patterns and prints. So I thought it was really cool that they were kind of throwing it back to this ancient art form and applying it to new, usually it's a paper technique to marble paper, but they were pushing the envelope and doing it with fabric, and it was amazing. So that was a really fun demo to see. And then this is a picture from Moda Fabrics. They have a new fabric collection coming out called Vintage Soul from Kathy Holden. So this is just, I didn't get a chance to take a picture at the trade show. So this is from their Instagram. So full credit to them, but I just wanted to make sure to mention their new fabric line coming out. Lots of, retro colors and fun, bold prints here, so. Okay, number 9, nature, strawberry, and mushrooms. So again, I forgot to get a picture of this at the trade show, but this is from their Instagram account, The World of Sussy Bee from Clothworks. This quilt on the left here, it's called Sloan the Snail, a friendship bath quilt by Ivory Spring. So you can see the mushrooms there, the butterflies, just lots of elements of nature. And then of course down here, these are 2 embroidery designs from M Creative J. So she has this new Stumpwork strawberry kit that was inspired by a dress that she wore as a child. So she had a piece of the fabric from the dress that she wore as a little girl, and she turned that into a design. So again, not only is it, nature trending, but again, that vintage and retro vibe coming back into her designs, plus the mushrooms. So okay, and sustainability, last but not least. So like I said, last year, almost every booth had a focus on sustainability, and it was just even more prevalent this year, but more like naturally integrated. It was just kind of, instead of having it be like the main focus like it was last year, it was just there. It's almost like assumed that everyone now has a line of sustainable yarn or fabric incorporated into their product line. So this was an example from Lion Brand's booth. They were demoing all of their different, I think this is Respun on the left. I forgot what the other ones are called, but they have multiple lines of yarn that are made with sustainable materials. So like I said, very well integrated at almost all of the yarn companies as we walk the floor. So, okay, and then plus efficiency. So like I said, this is just kind of the bonus overarching trend. We're always looking for ways to work smarter, not harder, right? So they actually had this was new for this year. H&H put on this creator studio, which allowed people the opportunity to go live stream directly from the show floor, which was awesome. Like usually you're at the show and like taking notes of what you're going to produce later and like, oh, I can't wait to get back home and like share this with all my readers. Well, no need. You can just go live stream right here from the show floor. So it was really cool. You were able to sign up for your time slot and then hop in there and create whatever you want. They had video, photo. So this was Tamara Kelly of Moogly and Sarah Zimmerman from Repeat Crafter Me. And then I see Mary Beth Temple there in the back. They were all doing a demo for Made It Myself TV, which was one of the sponsors of the booth, along with a new company called GoSady. That is a really great technology platform launching later this year that allows creators to publish your designs and have it kind of be published across different websites, all with the click of a button. So if you want more information about GoSady, I would encourage you to look into that. It was created by creators for creators to give you more time to create. So that kind of wraps up what I had prepped. So I guess we can open it up to questions now. If anyone has any questions. My name is Jenny. Feel free to use the chat. Darren, I don't know if we have any questions already coming through, but we have a few minutes. So if anyone has any questions, we can go from there.
Thank you very much for a wonderful presentation and giving everyone, I think it was a good highlight reel, and to get an editor's eye on the show and the things that caught your and your team's eye from around the event, because the hardest part for anyone that didn't get there is your head's on a swivel because just everything is cool, no matter where you look. Unfortunately, there's no questions at this time. We're a relatively smaller group here on the Zoom and on the H&H Connect platform. Feel free to unmute yourself if you'd like to ask a question or just want to make your own general comment and want your 2 minutes on camera here. So please do. If not, we'll just kind of pause here for a few moments and give people a chance. And then if there is nothing, we'll end things there. But does anyone have anything they'd like to add or say or ask? So this is what it's like being an elementary school teacher. Not that you're in elementary school.
Well, if you guys think of anything, again, my name is Jenny Bowden. My email is down here at the bottom. I apologize if the screen sharing wasn't working in the beginning, but thank you so much for alerting me to that. So I hope you guys learned something. Again, like Darren said, it's so overwhelming sometimes walking the floor. So these are just, I was there with 4 other colleagues. I think we divided the floor up. And so this was truly a collaborative effort of our team identifying what we kind of saw recurring throughout multiple booths. So yeah, it was really fun, always inspiring. And this digital after show is just a great opportunity to continue the inspiration. And yes, Andrea, the recording will be available, I believe, right, Darren?
So yes, so as we come to an end here, the first question Robin had asked, the companies that you mentioned in the presentation,
yes,
they are all inside the H&H Connect platform. You can still, so you can, when you're in the platform, you click on companies or exhibitors, and they're all there, so you can see them. It's up to the individual companies if they listed these products or their products in itself, but you can look at the companies, see their contact information, and also see the contact person from those companies as well will all be attached to those companies. On our general show website, you could still see the 2022 floor plan. So that's another resource. Again, click on the plan, click on a booth, you will see the company's direct contact information there. And then additionally, if Jenny will make this available, we will link the presentation she shared with us in the platform. So when you go back to your agenda, you will see this class, you will see additional resources. It'll be there as a link for you to view and download. And then there's a on-demand library on the platform as well that you will actually find this edition. Jenny did one of these last year for us in the platform, so you can actually see last year's review, and this year's will be added to that on-demand library along with the keynote sessions, and also the main stage sessions from this year are being added to the platform over the weekend, along with the 2022 sessions are all there as well. So if you want to kind of go back and have some time and just feel like watching this because you finished Netflix like I have, you can find something else to watch.
And I don't know if I can compete with whatever's on Netflix these days, but yes, you can certainly try. So
I finished. There's nothing left. So I need to watch this because you open it up and nothing is catching me saying I've either watched it, seen it.
Yeah, I will say we haven't even had Netflix for a while because we got through everything that we cared to watch. So yeah. Anyway, Robin's wondering if the 5 E's to easy marketing will be available.
Yes, that is, hold on a second here. Bear with me a moment. The 5 E's is going to air at 1 o'clock today is when it'll be the first airing of it. And then after that, it'll then be on the on-demand library. There's also another session later in the day. There's one that's at 1 o'clock. At 2 o'clock, we have how to create. Well, let me get the whole title here. How to create great customers. How to create the great customer experience. That's at 2 o'clock today. And then, yes, tomorrow. I know it's Friday, and many people are going into a holiday weekend. You can also find at 11 o'clock in the morning. We will have working session working with influencers that was also on. These were different programs on our main stage, and you'll find some that have already replayed about using social medias on there. There's a Q&A that I did just about how to use the platform, what the platform is for, what it's going to be used for this year, and then some specific details if you're an exhibitor in the show about how to download your lead list also goes into those details as well. Let me see here. Hold on. Now people are writing. Gave them time to think. This was our first. So Laura, this is our first time at the show. We loved it. Thank you very much. Do you see the participation of quilt entries growing in the future? Yes. I think to answer your question, when you look at the knitting and crocheting universe, their traditional home does not exist anymore for shows that have been in the United States for many years. So that's kind of where H&H started, because that was the immediate void that we were filling. If you're an embroiderer or needle pointer, there are other existing events out there that suit some of those needs. So we are part of that ecosystem of multiple choices. And along with quilting is another one of those where there are other business events for the quilting industry. So companies do have choice. But I would hope, as people who've experienced our show, the uniqueness that H&H America offers, similar to what we do in Cologne, is bringing together all of these fiber crafting. Because even as a quilter, my standing joke is, if you've already heard it, I'm sorry, it's really hard when you get on a plane to plug in your sewing machine. It's a very difficult craft to keep going, or when you're in the car for that long car ride this summer to go to whatever family event or summer vacation, it just doesn't travel with you. But you're still a crafter at heart, right? You still want to do something. So maybe it's a little paper craft that's a little easier to do. You can do knitting, crocheting, right? You can do a little needlepoint project or a latchwork project. These are things that travel better. And so I think retailers have now the opportunity to look at their store and say, well, what else can I sell my customer so that when they do take their break from the primary craft, that they're not leaving my sale channel, right? Like I could still offer them something. Or the idea of crafters have birthdays, crafters have crafter friends that have birthdays. I'm not buying them all the stuff they need for their next quilt project or their next knitting project or crocheting project, but maybe a little kit might be fun. It's a little nice something when you're going to a party or to a gift to someone who already you know is a crafter. Love the new dates in May. Thank you very much. Will the trends presentation that was, oh wait, hold on. That was mid-morning on Thursday. The name of the lecture is in my car. If you're so Susan, if you are speaking about the trends clash given by Trisha Malcolm, that was one of our paid sessions. That is not something you will find on the platform or find available. We kind of restricted what went on the platform that we can keep open for everyone. That was the free classes provided to everyone at the show. Yes, and yeah, that's the one you're speaking about, Susan. I see your follow-up question here. Yeah, I'm sorry. That's though I am meeting with Trisha next week. We'll see if we can't get her back here on the platform, maybe mid-year, to do a kind of a, I don't know, maybe in the fall, like to do a fall update as you're kicking into your winter sales season and maybe into that kind of cycle. And maybe we can even look for a counterpart, because she tends probably to be a little more in the knitting and crocheting world. Find someone that would be also on the quilting world, and we'll find kind of two trends people to talk about what's coming this winter. That we stay tuned, follow us on Instagram, read our newsletters, please, because we'll get that out there. I like the idea. I have a quilt shop, but I was looking for my products to add to the shop, especially embroidery kits, and I found a few things. Great, Robin. Thank you for that feedback. And next year, I hope you find even more things. I think the hard part to remind people of is we're 2 years old.
Yeah.
Right. We just had our second birthday. It was an awesome second birthday.
So good.
you know, when you think about Cologne and the size and the scale and the scope, like that thing's been going on for 30 plus years. And you think about some of the other shows here in America, some of them are going into their 50th year this next year. So they've had a lot more time to grow. But we're getting there. We'll keep growing, and we're going to keep expanding the types of categories, even down to things like business services. You need bags for your store. You need QuickBooks for your store. You need a QuickBooks consulting, because I failed accounting in college. I need to hire these things. I'm a sales guy. I'm not a numbers guy. Let's see here. That was awesome. I'm an armchair economist, and it had some good info. Good. Yes. And we can try to get you in touch with Trisha as well. So if you want to go ahead and email me, I'm glad to kind of connect you separately on the outside, so that maybe she can share some things with you. Thank you also, Robin, for keep going. I like the TV and the things that you're sending in here. Yes, but keep in mind, for my age, when I did accounting, it was a IBM sheet where you had debits and credit columns and a whole lot of erasers. It's a touch easier now, I would agree. I was a presenter for Fab Shop on the main stage, and got a lot of good compliments from the other attendees. Again, thank you, Robin. I agree. For many people that tried it for the first time, it just was for people that know H&H Cologne and came to last year or have been to Cologne, they just kind of get it. And there was I would say easily a third, if not more, of that audience was still their first time trying this. And it's kind of like, oh my God, I get it.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a great show for sure.
Yeah, one of the things I apologize, I didn't see if you covered it, like the cosplay stuff, I think was also another interesting.
Yes, I should have included that. I took so many pictures. Yeah, there was a great cosplay exhibit at the back of the show of just, a wonderful way to incorporate yarn into a new fun industry of this. It's almost like just playing dress up. But yeah, it's a great, amazing what they can do with just some yarn and a lot of patience. But yeah, that was very impressive and beautiful. I can try to add a slide about that, because I do have all the photos. It was very impressive.
And if you go to the show website, you will find a full page dedicated on the cosplay artists, where you can see each of the outfits with their professional photography. You can find each of the artists provided a little write-up about how long it took them, what materials they've used. And then you can also find a bio on the artist, and also how to reach them on social media to connect with those artists. The real goal of that was as a interesting way to showcase these are your customers too. People that are crocheting Wonder Woman outfit, or the Mandalorian outfit, which was fabric and plastic materials, right? They're buying thread somewhere. They're buying zippers somewhere. They need to buy fabric somewhere. So we actually it was about equal balance. It was like 5 fabric base and about 6 crocheted knitted base. So we kind of made sure to have a balance of the two, and along with our Fashion Boulevard to see inspiration ideas. There's a whole nother section on the website where you can get more information on what was put on display, some photos of what was put on display. And then depending on the item, some of them are even providing a free pattern of what was put on display. So you can download a free pattern from our website as well.
Awesome. Yeah, that was great. Very impressive.
Anything else, or you're done with our talk show, Jenny and I just filling the void of quietness?
I'm good. Whenever.
Yes. And thank you for all the questions, everyone. We appreciate it. This presentation, if you are sharing it with a friend, or if you just want to go back and see something, you can expect to see it on the website later this afternoon.
Robin, I think there was a survey that all the attendees had. I know Darren emailed out a link to the survey to provide feedback on the show. So did you get
there's 2 ways to do it. So we have our direct customer feedback survey from the show right now, where you can kind of give us little hearts, or not so many hearts, of different components, and free, just flat out questions you can write in on. And then we do work with the Craft Industry Alliance and Abby's organization, and she pulls together, particularly more in the late summer, early fall. We have many different committees that get formed for feedback. There's a conference committee where you can work directly on suggesting speakers or suggesting topics. We hosted an exhibitor committee to kind of hear from exhibitors and what they're looking for and for exhibitor audiences. We're forming a new content creator committee to, again, to talk about whether there's specific programming or specific needs for that audience. There's one that we did just in communications and marketing, so that if there's a organization, a group, or part of the funnel of people who make their living in crafts that we're not approaching, or some of the feedback to the icons we should use. Last year, someone pointed out that the icons we were using was not as inclusive as we should have been. So we took that feedback and updated that background wallpaper to be more inclusive of certain icons. So there are a number of different sounding committees. Some meet twice, some meet 4 times, some met once. But there's various different ways that are there via Abby's organization, putting them out. And you can always just reach out to us directly. My phone number is not hidden on the website. We have a live chat on the website, as much as sometimes doing groups, one-on-one. And plus, you will also always find us out and about, whether this past year, QuiltCon, Road to California, Quilts in Quilt Festival, Quilt Market in Houston, some of the Golden Peak events. You go around, if there's an event in America, one of myself or one of my staff are there. Yes, thank you, Robin, for the additional feedback. That's you're not the only to note that, and it's on our list of, actually at 2 o'clock today, we have our own internal post-show digest of it, and it's already on our list of things we need to change for next year.
Yeah. All right. Well, Darren, thank you for having me. This was wonderful, and I hope I was able to share some insight with attendees.
Yes, thank you for your time today. I really do appreciate it. And everyone, don't be a stranger. We'll see you online or see you out there at some live event in the future.
Perfect. Thank you, everyone.
Take care now.
Bye-bye.